Hello everyone, my name is Mist, and today I'll be reviewing Now That As We Call Christmas 2, the Signature Collection. This album was released on September 30th, 2003. This album is split into two discs, with disc 1 being titled Now and Forever, and disc 2 being titled Then and Always. There will be a lot of arrangements I have heard for the first time in this collection, so these will also include some past thoughts. So let's start our Now and Forever section with the familiar artist.
Gaily they ring while people sing songs of
This song has no background music in whatsoever. The only thing you hear in this song are the trio's voices, giving this a more a cappella feeling and helps drive the song along. There are also a few parts where you think the song ends, but ends up being a more powerful verse and the song keeps going. This is the first time I even heard the specific song, so Destiny's Child was the first version I heard and might be the only version, but while it is a good song, it won't be in my Christmas rotation. And now on to a new arrangement of a well-known Christmas song. This was the last thing I expected this song to sound like considering its history, and from what I remember of Orko herself, I don't recall any song sounding like this either. This has a more pop R&B sound and has a more laid-back approach than other Christmas songs do, as you tend to hear loud and bombastic sounds, so this is different than what many would expect. Now, this isn't bad either, but once again, not one I would actively listen to. Now, this was originally written in Latin, and we will get to a Latin version later on, but first we have a familiar boy band. And here we have a Christmas love song, which will happen again later in the review. I actually view this one as a more genuine one, as you would expect love songs to have a slower pace and softer melodies, but I actually do enjoy how this one was arranged. I do like how it gets more and more upbeat as the song progresses. This is the first song in this review to be one I would like to listen to during Christmas, and there might be more later in the review. And now on to an artist we have talked about a few times before.
think of all the fun I've missed.
This is one of the more popular versions of this specific song. This is also one of the most disliked Christmas songs of all time, no matter who sings it. This is very familiar to the original in terms of how it sounds, and I can bring a sense of familiarity to anyone who listened to the Eartha Kitt version. As for me, I never liked the song, and Minogue did very little to change the song. It is still something I don't like, and now on to another familiar boy band who put a new sound on a well-known song.
You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you.
B2K is one of the over 200 artists to record the song. This, however, is one of the more unique versions of the song. This song has such a change in sound that it was jarring to me the first time I heard it. It even includes a rap verse, which is the last thing I expected in a Christmas song. Also, I cannot not hear the pan flute whenever this song plays, as I always think of a show I used to watch whenever I hear it. This is very interesting and I like it quite a bit, but I wouldn't say to look it up if you don't want a change in sound. And now on to a few artists who have achieved legendary status, starting with Elton John mixed in certain ways to get it into a format he liked. This was an homage to Christmas songs by Phil Spector-produced groups such as the Ronettes. This is also mixed to imitate his work using compression and utilizing his trademark wall of sound technique. This was also back when Phil Spector was still seen as a likable person instead of the evil person he ended up being. Besides that, this still has the Elton John style I tend to hear in his music, especially when it comes to my favorite song of his, I'm Still Standing. However, I can't get into this song that much, and I think it has to do with the production sounding annoying to me. I don't think this song is for me, but I can't deny that Elton John is one of the most influential artists of all time. And as for another influential artist, we have
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
If you know any of Jimmy Buffett's work, this should not sound surprising to you. Buffett has been known to have a tropical style of sound in his music, such as with Margaritaville, so I am not surprised with the sound. This is probably the most well-known song no matter who sings it. This also has a few lyric changes that suit Buffett's style as well, making this a parody instead of a cover. I think that this is a really good song, and with Buffett being a great artist, took a well-known song and made it his own, which is pretty hard to do. And now on to the most famous Christmas song of all time, and a few unpopular opinions from me. I was gonna have to talk about this song at some point. This is probably the most successful Christmas song of all time, and it's also an up-tempo love song including bell chimes, backing vocals, and synthesizers. As for me, my biggest problem isn't how it sounds. My biggest problem with this song is the amount of overplay it gets every year. Every holiday, this gets played so much to the point it starts to get annoying to listen to over and over again that I just want to stop playing any music for a while. If you like the song, good, because I don't mind if you do. But for me, the overplaying gets to me in a way few songs really do. But now on to an artist I know fairly well given my upbringing.
A star, dancing in.
Knowing Vince Gill's music, the fact he recorded this song doesn't surprise me, as this song has some religious lyrics, as it tells a story loosely based on the story of the nativity of Jesus as told in the Gospel of Matthew. The couple that wrote this song wrote it as a plea for peace during the Cuban Missile Crisis back during the 1960s. As for this version, Gill has the powerhouse vocals to be able to sell the song really well and can sell the emotion songs like this tend to evoke. This song was a perfect song for Vince Gill to sing, and is definitely something to listen to during this time. And now on to a song by an artist I have never heard of before.
It came upon the midnight.
If you're like me and didn't know who Aaron Neville was, he's an R&B singer and was a member of the Neville Brothers before going solo. This song has a laid-back R&B sound to it which fits with his style of music, and he adapted to the song pretty well. This song used to be a poem before it was adapted into a song, and I don't know how this originally sounds, so I only have this version to go off of, and I think it is a pretty well done. Now I have already covered one pretty well-known Christmas song, so let's do another one.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very
This song got held off of number 1 in the UK, but one of my favorite Christmas songs Do They Know is Christmas by Band Aid. I bring this up because in January 2021, the group donated all of their royalties to relief efforts for the Ethiopian famine, which Do They Know is Christmas was raising money for. As for a thing I don't like about the song, I don't like that it runs for over 6.5 minutes long, which I think is completely unnecessary, especially as the first CD runs for so long already. This has a nice sound to it, but it's also overplayed, which bugs me, and its length upsets me a lot, so it's not in my good graces. Anyway, let's get to an artist that is in a lot of people's good graces.
I wanna see Christmas through your eyes.
I believe that this is an original Christmas song from Estefan herself, as she is one of the songwriters. It's pretty subdued compared to other Christmas love songs we have heard so far, but considering what love songs are traditionally like, it doesn't surprise me. As the song goes on, you can hear the sound and singing pick up in volume as well. I wish it was a little more jovial, but in terms of what we got, I'm not complaining. And now if you want something with a bit more comedy,
Merry Christmas, but I think I'll miss this one this year. Merry Christmas.
there is a lot of things to talk about. So, Chris Butler assembled the song from assorted unused riffs and finished writing the lyrics in a taxi while heading to the recording studio. Butler said the lyrics came from his own hatred of Christmas, and the basis was inspired by the bass line of Good Times by Chic, which was recently released around the time this song was being recorded. Hip-hop music was starting to gain prominence around this time, so the song title is actually a pun, as the singer almost raps the whole song. Butler also said that he liked the meaning of wraparound, as the story is circular. As for the lyrics, the song is told from the perspective of a busy woman adamant not to participate in the Christmas season. On Christmas Eve, she runs to the store to buy cranberries, where she meets an attractive man she has been interested in for a year, bringing her Christmas to a happy ending. It's a pretty good song, and while it's not the best on this album, I would recommend listening to it. And now on to an artist who is married to someone we already talked about.
Setting our hopes on a big stone tonight. We'll wake up to a world of.
As Amy Grant is a Christian pop artist, I should not have been surprised at how this sounds, but that just shows how much I know about the genre. I was also surprised as her husband Vince Gill had a song earlier in this review with religious undertones, and now that I know the song, I actually like it quite a bit. I really like how it sounds, and even though it's more jovial, you can still hear some parts of it that would work well in contemporary Christian music, which she sang before going into Christian pop music. I do think it sounds good, and Grant has the voice to pull it off. Just like Estefan, Grant was one of the songwriters on their song, making it an original song, and I think it is one that should be checked out. And now on to a very well-known song by an artist I have never heard of before. Looking up who Charlotte Church was, and in doing that, this song makes sense for her to sing. Church is a Welsh singer who as a child sang classical music before crossing over into a less successful pop career. With Silent Night being one of the most traditional Christmas songs of all time, I would expect someone who sings classical music to bring this song justice. I won't go over the history of this song, as even though I think I am good with German pronunciation, there would be too much to go into. But I think this song is pretty well done, and just like with other songs, the volume picks up as the song goes on. This song I think was done well, and if you are a fan of the song in general, this should be a version to check out. And now on to an artist we last talked about in the previous Christmas review. I am pretty sure I talked about the history of this song last Christmas review, so I won't get into it again. However, for this review we will be talking about the Luther Vandross version. This has a more soul sound when it comes to R&B music, and I think it works well for the song. I think that the song does well with showing off Vandross's voice, and he sounds really well on it. I think it was a really well done version of the song, and I think it's better than the last Vandross song was. And going to another artist we have talked about in the past, knowing this song's origin, it is not surprising Celine Dion covered this. For anyone who knows anything about religion and Christianity, this song is actually about the night of the birth of Jesus Christ and was based on a French poem known as Minuit Chrétiens. I am sorry if I mispronounced it. This song is a very powerful song and very hard to sing, and Dion is one of the most powerful singers ever, and she has the voice to pull off pretty much every song, and this is one of her best. This does a great job showing off her vocal range and shows why she is one of the greatest singers of all time. This is not my favorite on this album, but it is still a great song and has earned its place on this album. Now for a song I have never even heard of before.
There's a place that I know where the sycamore.
I did not find much about this song other than that it was written by Horace Silver. I don't know if Norah Jones is the original artist, but this version feels like something you would hear in a fancy restaurant or something like that with its classical sound. The song is mostly driven by piano and Jones sounds very good on it. This mostly stays at the same level throughout the whole song, which makes it easy to listen to. I think it's a pretty good song if you haven't heard it yet. That ends this first part of the album, and going into the Then and Always section, we are starting off with
Sleigh bells ring. Are you listening?
all the songs we have already talked about were pretty new around the time this album came out. We're now going to talk about songs that came out years and decades before this album came out, starting with this one. I talked about some of the history of this song in the last review. The sound does sound the same as the original did, and this time we have Armstrong's unique raspy voice singing the lyrics. I believe that Armstrong singing this was a good fit for him, as I think he has the ability to sell this sort of song well. This is a Christmas classic, and Armstrong is definitely the right singer for the song, and should be remembered.
I'm dreaming tonight of a place.
The song is both hopeful and sad at the same time. The song is sung from the point of view of a soldier stationed overseas during World War II, writing a letter to his family. The lyrics are basically what the soldier writes about in the letter, and it ends on a melancholy note with the line, "If only in my dreams," which is sung after the title of the song. The version we are talking about today is the Barbra Streisand version, and I think it works well. Streisand can sell the emotion of the song well, and with how powerful of a singer she is, she brings the song to a powerful end with her vocals. There's also more production put into this song than I have other versions of the song, and I like that this version does that as well. Either way, this is an emotional song that captures the idea of Christmas well. Now on to a singer we talked about in the previous Christmas review.
Silver bells, silver.
The history of this song has many conflicting reports, so I will not talk about it. Last time I talked about Johnny Mathis, I said he had the best song on his side of the album. This version of the song sounds well with Mathis's voice, and I think it stays true to the original recording of the song. I think that he sounds well on the song, and he stays subdued until the end when he belts out the last few words of the song, making the song end on a high note. This is a really well-known song, as a lot of people don't know many of the artists of the song, but I think Mathis did a good job with this song that you should listen to. And now on to an artist we are talking about for the first time.
Come, they told me. Ba-ra-ba-ba.
This is the first song in the second half that I do not like, and that is purely because of the sound that they used. I have no idea why they decided to make it sound like this, but it takes away the bombastic feel that other versions of the song have. I don't expect every version to sound like For King & Country's rendition of the song, but I don't expect it to be changed as much as it was. Overall, I am fine if I never have to listen to the song again. And now on to the shortest song on the whole entire album.
Happy holiday. Happy holiday.
The song has the feel of what I normally expect from this artist. It has a 60s feel I expect her to have for the style of music she does. This is the shortest song on the album, barely clocking 2 minutes, and I don't know if it's because of the lack of lyrics or if it was sung too fast on Lee's part, but either way, I thought there would be more to it, and although I am lukewarm on it at best, there's not much I can find wrong with it, and it works well as a Christmas song. And our next song comes from a singer from the same era as Peggy Lee does.
The jingle bells are jingling, the streets are white with...
I have never even heard of this song before, so I will try my best to talk about it. This seems more like a sad Christmas song, kind of like Blue Christmas, but this time it has less enjoyability to me. Maybe it's because this has less rhythm, or maybe it's because Dean Martin is not the type of artist to make music like that, but either way, they're both sad songs. I can't say it's bad, especially since it's the first time I have ever heard of this song, but it does seem very different from other Christmas songs Martin has released. And now on to a song that I know has more groove than a lot of songs talked about already do.
Run, run, Rudolph, Santa's gotta make it to town.
This song does show age with some of the lyrics. The reason why is that the dialogue between Santa and the children references popular toys of the 1950s. I think this is a pretty good song as we don't really see much Christmas music in this style, and that already gives it some uniqueness. It also sounds enjoyable to listen to, and I have heard other versions that keep the same groove for other renditions as well. I think this is a good song, and if you are a fan of this style of song, here it is adapted into a Christmas song. And now on to a song from two singers we have not heard from at all in these reviews.
I really can't stay.
But baby, it's cold outside.
This song has a huge jazz feel to it. You usually hear the song be more subdued, but both these singers sing to a huge jazz number and you can get some theater vibes from it. However, I don't find myself enjoying the song even with its huge sound. I've never been a fan of this song and this didn't really help me get into the song. I think at this point I will never like the song no matter who sings it, but I still can't deny that it is a Christmas classic. And now on to a song I was looking forward to.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
And suffice to say, I was really let down to know that the live version is different sonically to the studio version. This is one of my favorite Christmas songs of all time, and the studio version has a sort of bombast that I don't hear as much in the live version here. It doesn't sound bad, but when compared to what I would rather listen to in the studio version, I don't know when this live recording took place, and live performances then are different than they are now since there is more you can do, so I think that much could have been done during this recording, especially as Feliciano himself still has a good voice. But I still wish there could have been more. Now on to a very famous Christmas carol with
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose.
I don't think this song needs any introduction as everyone should know the song. I'm not really surprised with how this sounds as Burl Ives is the same person who sings the Holly Jolly Christmas from the last Christmas review I did. This was on the soundtrack, the holiday special of the same name, which makes sense to me as Burl Ives plays Sam the Snowman. Overall, I think this is a good song and definitely worth listening to around Christmas. And now on to the second traditional Christmas song on this album. This has the type of sound I would expect from this song. If you don't know Andy Williams, he is most known for The Most Wonderful Time of the Year. But with this song, he takes a slower approach with the song. As with most religious Christmas songs, the sound is slower and lyrics vary depending on certain circumstances. In this case, the lyrics are different depending on which book the text is from. The meanings of the words are the same, but the rearrangement of the words is different. I think this is a very well done song, and I think that this is a nice song to listen to during Christmas. And now on to a song from the king of country music himself.
We can build a little fire. We can sit and talk for hours.
This has a style that I know George Strait is comfortable with. The song is not as upbeat as his other song, Christmas Cookies, but still has his distinctive voice. This takes a jazzier approach to country music, and I think George Strait handles it really well. This song is another Christmas love song, as you can tell by listening to the lyrics, and includes George Strait's smooth voice as well. This is a good song, but I don't think it's the best on the album. And now here's a song from a gospel artist.
Oh, little town of Bethlehem.
This melody has different tunes depending on which side of the Atlantic you are on. For the US and Canada, the melody is St. Louis by Louis Redner and most likely used for this version, and for the UK and Ireland, the melody is Forest Green by Ralph Vaughan Williams. Like I said, I think St. Louis is most likely used for this melody, and as for my opinion, I think Yolanda Adams did really well in the song. This takes a soft gospel approach, and honestly, this is the most upbeat version of the song I have ever heard. I do think this is a good song, especially if you are a fan of gospel music, but even then, I still think this is pretty good. And now on to a song from another country music legend.
It's just another homemade Christmas.
I am not happy that I keep forgetting this song because it is such a good song. This is another Christmas comedy song, and Kenny Rogers has such a nice voice to sing this with. This doesn't have the same downbeat melody that his signature song The Gambler does, but it is still a good song and I can't see myself ever disliking it. It's such a fun song to listen to, and Kenny Rogers is such a likable singer when it comes to country music, and this is an example why. Even if you don't like country music, I would highly recommend listening to this. And now on to the last traditional song on this album.
Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills.
This has a more folkier sound than I expected when I first saw this singer. Although with this being Andy Griffith, I should have known that this sound was going to be used as it's what he's most known for. This song has a nice melody to it and I can see myself enjoying the song a lot. I personally don't enjoy it as much as I did Kentucky Homemade Christmas, but I still think that this is a really enjoyable song if you decide to give it a chance. And now on to a song we have already talked about in this review, but this time in a different style and language. This is the type of sound I expected to hear when I talked about Stacey Origo earlier in this review. If you don't know who Luciano Pavarotti is, he's an Italian operatic tenor, so as you can expect, this has some opera music vibes with it, and I believe he sings the entire song in Latin as well. I don't really mind the song at all, and I think it works well, but I don't have the mindset to like this version even though it is really well done compared to other songs we have heard in this review. If this is intriguing to you, I would recommend it. And now on to an artist that I am pretty sure you have heard of.
Oh, there's no place like home for the holiday.
Even though this song is used on the Then and Always section, this version was released in 2002. I do like how this song sounds, as it sounds more upbeat than the original Perry Como version as well. I don't know why, but I also think he sounds a lot like Weird Al Yankovic while singing. It's just something I noticed while listening, and it might sound different the next time I listen. This is good for what it is, and it is a good song, but I don't think it's one I would willingly listen to on Christmas. And our last song comes from someone who made the sweet jazz style popular for nearly 5 decades.
Good old acquaintance.
The placement of the song on this album is very fitting. The song is used for ending the year and starting the beginning of a new year. This version in particular, released in 1929, was performed on New Year's Eve up until 1977, which was a month after Lombardo himself passed away. And now the intro to the Decca Records version of the song is played every year in Times Square after the dropping of the ball. As for my opinion, as much as I like the history behind it, I don't enjoy listening to this song that much. It's probably going to be something I listen to every year, but I am pretty sure that my mind will be on the new year instead. And that is it for this review. This review had a lot of Christmas music to go through, and hopefully you guys found some Christmas songs that you enjoy. As for my favorites, my favorite from Disc 1 is I Don't Want to Spend One More Christmas Without You by NSYNC, as it was the most enjoyable to me. My favorite from Disc 2 is Kentucky Homemade Christmas by Kenny Rogers, as that was just really fun to listen to. Other favorites from both discs will be in the description, and next time it's back to the main series. Until next time, my name is Mist, and I will see you next time. Take care.